Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're gonna make an update on the orchids that I received from Ana Maria earlier this year. You might remember I did that whole ICU series. If you don't remember and you don't know what I'm talking about, just check the links down below in the description and you will see the whole history. Basically, I received from Ana Maria a lot of divisions. Many of them were rootless divisions, actually most of them, back divisions and so on. So it took a little bit of effort to make them root. Most of them rooted. Problem was I needed to move. Then I moved here and sadly I didn't have medium for about 3 weeks because, as it would seem, transport with the post office from Germany to my place takes 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I didn't know that. So my orchid stayed without a medium for 4 weeks. Thus, many of them, even if they already started to produce roots, were lost in the process. So the orchids that I'm left with are the absolute survivors. And some of them are doing better than others. Let's just take a look at them and see how they look like today. So I'm gonna start with this corner because I have them spread throughout my greenhouse. Here we have the Cattleya, or actually it's the Cattleya El Atillo Pinta. And this one, ever since I received it, created 2 new growths. You can see this one and this one. And now it's working on the other growth right there. It is also working on some roots. Now this is one of them that is not bouncing back all that fast compared to the others, as you will see, but it's still alive, it's still pushing out growth, it's still making roots. As you can see, one big root right here, so I still hope that it will be okay and it will bounce back completely, but I think it's just gonna take a while. Being that I don't have much experience with this orchid, I don't know how hardy it is, how fast it grows, how many pseudobulbs it creates per year and so on, so I don't know what to say about this. Personally, I don't think she's bouncing back all that fast and all that okay. I hope there's nothing more going on with this one, but for now, yeah, she's a little question mark. I'm not sure if she's completely healthy, but she is growing and I continue to care for it and we'll see what happens. Okay, next to it we have a Cattleya that is doing much better. Let's see, this is the Cattleya Chianti, Love is Song, Summer Beauty. That's a bit of a mouthful. And this Calia orchid, I received it with 2 pseudobulbs, this one and this one. She rooted, she created this pseudobulb, this new growth, which, as you can see, it's not much smaller than the previous growths. So the setback is not all that dramatic, considering, yeah, in normal conditions this pseudobulb should have been bigger than these ones, but at least it's not all that smaller. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of roots inside the pot, and also I have a root outside the pot. And funny thing, the root is really not bothered by the soil deposits and all of these things that I get on my clay pots from time to time. What's bothering it is the fact that it's going under the pot, and I think the tip is ruined because sometimes I move around things. Let's see. Oh, no, not really. Okay, it's not the best looking thing, but why did you have to go and grow out of the pot? But anyway, this orchid is really doing okay. Again, I'm not sure how fast it's supposed to grow, but compared to the other one there, she is really doing better and she's growing okay. She's producing a lot of roots. I am having high hopes for this one. Okay, in the back there, we have RLC, which is again a Cattleya, King Heart crossed with Cattleya Intermedia. I just had to take a look at the tag. So when I received it, there were only these 2 bulbs, there were no roots, and ever since I received it, she created this pseudobulb, which, as you can see, it is tinier than the other ones, but also this one that is maturing right now, and it's already bigger than the previous one. And please, Dendrobium, can you not get in the way? There are also roots growing in the pot, not so many aerial roots, but quite a few roots inside the pot. This orchid is getting hydration, but the older pseudobulbs are not hydrating themselves, given they used to be a lot thinner. So as you can see, I do have substance to them, but I also have these wrinkles. I'm not sure if they're ever gonna correct themselves. That's okay, as long as the orchid is okay, but I'm pretty happy with how this growth is turning out, as you can see. I don't expect it to bloom on this growth. But considering everything, she's doing quite okay. I'm quite happy, and again, I'm keeping my hopes high with this one. And as you'll see, most of my orchids are actually bouncing back pretty fast in comparison to the El Atillo there. And that's why I'm saying she might have something wrong with her. Okay, moving on to the IKEA stand. It's a bit shadowy right now because it's morning. I know what this is. This is the Banfieldara Mystic Maze. And when I received it, I had this back bulb and this one, but it did have roots. And this shows because the new growth, the new pseudobulb here, is quite okay looking. It's not very tiny, not as big as the older one, but it is growing, it is plumping up in each day. Well, not really, but every few days I do discover that it's growing bigger and bigger. At first it was kind of tiny. I suspected it would be tiny, but now I see that it's getting taller and fatter. And I'm not sure if this is a spike here. No, it's just a shadow. Not sure if it's gonna bloom, but it is looking quite good. Root production has been very, very good on this guy, considering everything, and he doesn't have a lot of wrinkly marks on the older pseudobulbs and so on. So he's doing quite okay, very happy with this guy. And next to it, we have something that actually bloomed, and I'll share with you a link down below so you see the blooms. This is the Lycaste aromatica. And right now she's looking kind of weird because this orchid is deciduous, so she is in the process of losing her leaves right now. Not completely, the process is pretty slow. Also, this is a little bit of a salt burn from a previous fertilizer that I used, but this one actually managed to bloom. So I received 2 back bulbs. Again, no viable roots, but they created 2 new growths. As you can see, this one actually bloomed. And funny thing, the growth that actually bloomed is tinier than the other one. So as you can see, even though this one has a bigger back bulb than the other one, the back bulb is tinier than the new growth. So it's a really interesting thing that's happening here because this bulb actually bloomed, and being that it wasn't in the best condition, it remained smaller because it consumed more energy into these flowers than into growing the pseudobulb. And as you can see, the difference is really, really visible. But overall, this orchid is doing quite okay. I don't think I'm gonna lose it. But yeah, of course, in the following years, probably she'll look better and better. Okay, here we have the Calia harisonia alba, or a hybrid of it. When I received it, it had this pseudobulb and the other one in the back, no roots yet again, but ever since I received it, it created quite a few growths. Not very big growths, but still. So this one is new and the other one is new. As you can see, there is a little bit of a difference in size, which is good. As the orchid produced roots and started to hydrate herself and consume nutrients, things have started to pick up. And now she's working on this new growth, which I hope will be bigger than the other ones. So in this case, again, I don't have any worries. I think she's doing just fine. I don't think she is sick. She's getting hydration. The leaves are not wrinkly anymore. So that's good. And let's stick around. Oh, this is the BC Maikai. This is a division that looked fine when I received it. But again, we are dealing with a setback. Ever since I received it, she created that pseudobulb, which is tiny. Then this one, which is a little bigger, and now she's working on this one, which is visibly bigger than the other one, even though it's really not mature or anything, but it's thicker. I can already tell she's going to be taller. Root production is okay. I'm okay with how this orchid is doing. Again, I don't think she is sick. She's hydrated, looks okay. And oh boy, when this orchid will bloom, it's gonna be quite the show. Another orchid that looked quite okay when I received it is the Dendrobium berryota, and as you can see, no worries here. There's really nothing wrong with this orchid. Furthermore, it is producing flower spikes. That one is the biggest one. I do have a few more here and there, just developing. It created a few new pseudobulbs, tinier than the older ones. That's okay. They're not very, very tiny, but as you can see, they're a bit tiny than the older growths. As years go by, the growths will grow larger and larger, but I, again, don't have any doubts that this orchid will perform okay, will do okay. Don't think she's sick, so yeah, I'm very happy with this one, but with this one, I really didn't have any doubts. Okay, here we have the Calia forbesii. This was not in the initial swap that we did in the ICU. This was at a later date, but I still received it from her. So this orchid, again, looked quite a lot better than the others, but not extremely well. So ever since I received it, it created a pseudobulb that sadly did not develop right. Hopefully you can see, this used to be the pseudobulb here. The leaf turned out wrinkly. It's just a little stump right now. I don't think you can see much. So that was the first growth, a pretty felt new growth, but then it created this one, which is already looking a lot better. So as you can see, this orchid is quite tall and has the possibility to become tall. The new growth is not as big, but it is promising. It's looking quite well. It is producing roots. Happy with this one. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So let's move on. This one again is coming from a second batch. I don't know how to film this. I have light from there and from here. I really don't know how to make this more illuminated, but this one is doing quite well. Did I say what this is? It's the Rachara Francis Fox. Ever since I received it, it created this new growth, which is tiny. And also this new growth, which is quite bigger. And right now, she is working on these buds right here. And yes, they're developing. We're gonna have flowers. I am just so excited. This one, you guys, is a spectacular looking orchid. And I cannot wait to show you the flowers. It will take a while because usually the flower spikes on this orchid are very tall. But yeah, cannot wait to show you how this one looks like. It's one of my pride and joys. And back there we have an Ivanagarra apple blossom. This one looked quite okay when I received it compared to the others. And I already have one, but I'm not sure if it's the same thing. I have the pink version. I'm hoping this one is different. Well, this one created a double growth. As you can see, there I have two new growths. Actually, no, it created first one growth and then the other two growth growing at the same time. So as you can see, a lot smaller than the previous growths, but not looking all that bad. Root production is really, really good on this one. It will just take a while until it blooms. I'm now seeing that the pot is not really suited for it. It's kind of tiny, but I guess she's gonna be the first one to get up potted. Not repotted, up potted. You'll see what I mean when she grows. This one again I received a little later, not in the ICU batch. This is the Paphiopedilum henrianum, and it's growing very slow, but it had a lot of spider mites, and I did that video on my current treatment with spider mites, which is working quite well. So if you missed that video, I'll add it again in the description below. You can see it, or in an info card on the screen. So this orchid didn't do much. It didn't grow a lot of things. It grew a new leaf on each of these rosettes. And now it's working on a new growth there, which is so deep in the pot. But yeah, this is where it came out. It's okay for Paphiopedilums, they do that. But this is taking just so long to grow. That's okay, I can be patient. I turned it around because the new growth is facing the light here, but I think I'm just gonna switch the position of the tag. Okay, this is better, we can see it better. So yeah, it's working on a new growth right now, which is pretty deep. I'm always careful when I water it. It's not the best going orchid, I have to say, compared to the others, of course, but he's still alive, he's still going okay. Had a lot of spider mites, he's okay now. We'll see what's gonna happen. And this is the last orchid. This is the Calia alvum. She has fusarium. So Anna Maria lost hers, and then she called me and she said, check yours, because mine had fusarium. I checked it, it has fusarium. That's why one of the pseudobulbs is missing, but I am keeping her for observation purposes. I do want to have it and I do want to make it healthy, but at this point I don't know much about the disease and my experience with it is not particularly well, so I don't have high hopes. And as you can see, the new growth is so tiny compared to the older one. Not sure what's going to happen with this one, but root production is okay. And also, this orchid is working on a new growth right underneath there. So yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. She's kept for observation purposes, separate from anybody else in this corner of sick orchids. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I'll keep you up to date, but hopes not so much for this one. And that's about it for now. As you can see, there aren't many left, but I do still have a few. Some of them are doing quite okay. And as for the ICU project that I did earlier this year, it worked really well and most of them started to root. The downfall was the fact that they had to wait for the medium here, and for an orchid that is already depleted, already starting to put all of her energy into the new roots and not getting hydration, or at least not properly getting hydration and all of that, it's kind of hard. And I suspect that if it wasn't for all of this move and all of the troubles until now, more of them would have been alive today, but that is that. The ones that I still have, they're looking okay. I am happy to have them and I'm grateful to have them. But that was the update. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for daily orchid and plants videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And if you'd like to see other updates on other orchids that I have, just let me know down below and we'll make some updates. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! As long as this orchid in bloom, expect quite a lot of footage on it because it's just one of my favorites. Absolutely adore this one. So with any opportunity that I have, I will film it. Now, here's the funny thing. Do you see those little things inside? I just love them. They move. This flower, mind you, is enormous. We're gonna take a closer look at it at the end of the month when we're gonna see what orchids we had in bloom.